The tailed beasts share some common abilities. They have big quantities of powerful chakra, can easily transfer it to whomever they want, and can use the tailed beast ball. That's nothing new. But not everyone knows what unique techniques, releases and kekkei genkai of each tailed beast are, what techniques and opportunities a jinchuriki gets, and so on. Stay here on the Ramen Time channel to find this out. Click the like button and we start. Shukaku has wind and earth release nature transformations. If Shukaku combines wind and earth elements, it can use magnet release, which is its main and unique power among the tailed beasts. Shukaku's most notable ability is its scent manipulation. He uses it as an effective weapon and shield. Since its whole body is completely made of scent, it can ignore most damage. Shukaku's scent is durable enough to block a Susanoo sword with ease. It's capable of performing fuinjutsu by using its natural cursed seal markings across its body, which gives off a magnetic field to bind its targets. One of its techniques is strong enough to temporarily restrain and seal powerful techniques, like the Susanoo. It can rapidly fire wind bullets with enough force to level entire forests. It's the only tailed beast which can use cursed seals from its markings and infuse them into the Rasengan. A Shukaku's Jinchuriki not only gets the ability to use the chakra of the tailed beast, but also he can control scent, wind, earth and magnet releases and all their jutsu. Matatabi. It uses fire release, which it can lend to its Jinchuriki to create fireballs. Matatabi also has flexible muscles, which granted great speed despite its large size. Its blue fire coverage has a protective function. Matatabi's Jinchuriki Yugito Nii got the ability to use fire release, for example for a mouse hairball technique. When using the two tails power, she could create a massive fireball that was powerful enough to destroy an entire building in a single shot. For a close-ranged combat, Yugito could make her finger and toe nails grow to become long claws, which allowed her to clash even with sword users. Since the Jinchuriki and the tailed beast weren't fully developed as characters, it's possible that they have many more abilities. Isobu. Isobu has water and yin releases. It also has the ability to create coral and swim at very high speeds. In the anime, it could produce a hallucinogenic mist that forced the victim to face their insecurities. Isobu can roll into a ball and attack its opponents. Isobu's tough skin and shell also grant it additional defense. It can create shock waves to repel attacks and produce large tidal waves around it. When Isobu eats something, thousands of miniature versions of itself attack what was eaten within its stomach, presumably to speed up the digestion process. It was also shown capable of space-time ninjutsu, materializing an entrance to a separate dimension in which it could hide its presence, until it was ready to return to wherever it chooses. Its Jinchuriki Yagura has enough control over the second form to prove it can survive Amaterasu, although Yagura was left badly injured. In this form, Yagura is able to perform coral palm, a technique which causes corals to grow on any surface he chooses. When used on opponents, it restricts their movement and eventually immobilizes them.
I am the handsome monkey king of Suirendo, the king of sage monkeys, bestowed with the priestly title Son from the Sage of Six Paths, the great monkey equal of heaven, Son Goku.
It has the ability to use fire and earth release simultaneously, allowing it to use lava release. With it, it can breathe a stream of green-colored fire and can create volcanoes. Son seems to be the best among all the tailed beasts in taijutsu. It has a great deal of physical strength, being able to lift and toss Gyuki with ease. Its Jinchuriki Roshi was able to use lava release. With the kekkei genkai, he could spew multiple molten rocks from his mouth, firing them in different directions. The armor also increases the damage of his taijutsu attacks, to the point that it could burn Naruto in his Nine Tails chakra mode, despite not making physical contact with him. Kokuo. Its willpower was incredibly strong, as it was the only tailed beast who broke free although briefly, of Tobi's control. By combining water and fire nature chakra to create boil release, Kokuo is able to increase the temperature of its chakra to its boiling point. This ability forms the basis of what is referred to as steam-based ninjutsu, granting itself or its Jinchuriki Han overwhelming physical strength. By regulating the amount and pressure of the steam, Han can magnify his physical strength and the force behind his attacks. Despite being able to use 3 releases, most often they strengthen themselves with the help of boil release and fought using taijutsu. Saiken. Saiken has shown the ability to emit corrosive substances that can instantly disintegrate its target on contact in the form of liquid or gas. Saiken possesses an affinity for water release. It can expel a sticky substance from its mouth, which is capable of trapping its targets. In the anime, it can use soap bubble ninjutsu. Its Jinchuriki Utakata fights using soap bubble water release ninjutsu. He primarily relies on the bubble line style, performed by combining his water release with a unique kind of bubble blowing relic. He was able to mix Saiken's acid with his bubble ninjutsu, and in the anime showed proficient skill in its normal application of water release. He created bubbles that exploded, immobilizing enemies, transporting Utakata himself into them, and also they could be used for defensive purposes. But I personally think that Saiken's most dangerous weapon is gas. Chomei. Using its wings, it can emit blinding powder and has the ability to fly. It also utilizes insect-based attacks, such as biting or ramming its horn into the enemy. In the anime, it can also create a cocoon, which could slow down chakra absorption techniques. Its Jinchuriki Fu could exhale a sparkling substance from her mouth that shines so brightly that it can blind her targets, creating an opening for herself or her allies to attack. Using the tails of the beast as the wings, Fu can fly, and I think it's really cool. Gyuki. Its sharp horns can easily impale a human being. Gyuki is durable enough to survive its own tailed beast ball. It can rapidly spin its tentacles to create an enormous tornado, or wrap them around its body for protection against attacks. However, the tentacles can be severed by sharp attacks with enough force. In this case, they can be used as a medium for its chakra, such as creating a clone of its host, or transferring chakra to said host should the beast be extracted. Gyuki can produce ink to blind its enemies or form ink clones to seal them. Its Jinchuriki Killer Bee can also partially transform parts of his body into those of Gyuki's, such as his own arm, or quickly forming all 8 tentacles on his back. Bee can produce ink from his mouth to write, blind his enemies, or form ink clones that can immobilize and seal his targets. As a Jinchuriki, Killer Bee possesses a massive quantity of strong chakra and stamina, enough to fight throughout an entire day, even while fully transformed. But that's rather thanks to Bee himself, I believe. Kurama. Kurama has sensor skills, able to detect chakra from great distances and sense negative emotions, as well as natural energy, which it can accumulate and transfer its Jinchuriki. In the anime, it is shown using wind and fire release nature transformations, being able to generate twisters and breathe fire. Even for a tailed beast, Kurama possesses massive, powerful chakra, required to be sealed last into the demonic statue to avoid overloading it. Kurama can also accumulate a huge amount of chakra shortly after it has used up most of its own, enough to be passed on to the entire allied shinobi forces and be felt by non-sensors. Kurama has a great deal of brute force, reputedly able to raise tsunamis and flatten mountains with just a single swipe of a tail. Even with half its strength, it could overpower Obito's controlled tailed beast, smash Madara's senjutsu-enhanced Susanoo with a tail, and with the 6th pass chakra, battle Sasuke's tailed beast-enhanced complete body, Susanoo. Kurama is quite fast, able to catch Naruto in Sage mode. Naruto, as the Jinchuriki of Kurama's young half, had access to massive reserves of exceptionally powerful chakra, at least 100-fold greater than Kakashi's. Failing to transform into a replica of Kurama at first, Naruto instead achieved a tailed beast mode in the unique form of a life-size transparent avatar of chakra. In it, he could create tailed beast balls and revitalize the life forces of any he touches physically or with the avatar, heal nearly any wounds, or grant them temporarily chakra cloaks. Well, and there is the Barian mode, which has already been discussed many times on YouTube. Thanks for watching, bye!